Hey everybody, welcome back to the studio. It's Alan Smith, and today we're going to talk about a topic that's been floating around the community the last week or so, and we're going to talk about it right now. Okay everybody, we're going to talk about this topic, and the topic is this. Is historical wargaming dying? Now, we've talked about this on the channel in the past. You look back through some of my older videos, I touch on this topic from time to time, and it was recently brought up. Little Wars TV had brought it up on their first video of this upcoming season, and Greg interviewed several game designers, Sam Mustafa, some of the other game designers out there, and some of the hobby shop owners, etc., weighed in on this topic. Now, I wanted to approach this topic from my own perspective, and running a YouTube channel for 6 years, and give my spin on this whole thing. And we've talked about it before, as I said, but here's the underlying premise to my comments, and that is, I do not believe historical wargaming is dying. Historical wargaming is, like a lot of things over the years, no matter what topic you choose, is transitioning, it's changing. And the main way that it's changing is through how basically we've seen an involvement of skirmish games, right? Smaller scale historical battles. Now, why would this be? Why would we want to see a movement, or we are seeing movement, into skirmish games? Now, the number one game I'm going to use here as my example is going to be Bolt Action from Warlord Games. This is a hugely popular game. It's on its second version. I actually picked up a nice chunk of models here for an upcoming game I'm preparing for. I'm building the Waffen SS. I'm building basically a platoon of 3 squads, some half tracks, etc., some MG teams, some mortar teams. But it's essentially a relatively small force. It is 28 millimeter, right? And we're actually, for this upcoming game, going to be using the battle group rule system to show that there is an alternative to the bolt action rules. Now, I have not played bolt action, but this is the example I will be using on this video to show that this movement in historical games to smaller scale games where you can play the platoon level, not the company level like in Flames of War. And the main reason is this: youth, okay? Youth. Younger players are just getting started in life, okay? Even my son has a really good degree. He worked hard in school. He has a good resume. He's a worker bee. So he, coming straight out of college, he had a really good paying job. Has his own loft apartment. He just bought a new car. I'm storing another car that I gave him. But the point is this: even though he is making a really good living out of college, which is not always the case these days, he's not a historical wargamer, right? What is he spending his money on? Well, he's saving money, right, for his future. I always taught my kids, when they're in their 20s, that's when you build your foundation. Right? The foundation of your lifelong house. So you find a lot of kids that are, well, I call them kids. They're grown men, they're grown women. They're hitting their 18, 19, 20 years old. The funds are going to be limited on what they can put into this. Now, even as the example of my son making a good living coming out of college, his money is, he's putting money in other places, right? He's not married yet, so he's taking out his girlfriend. He is taking trips, he's playing golf. He's not spending money on gaming right now. And we hope as we go forward here and he gets older, we'll go back, him and I can game together again. But my point is this: if you're coming out of high school, even if you're in college, you're just out of college, your mode of attack is usually spending money on other activities. So that's really, I think, the root of what we see with historical gaming. And the players I'm seeing get into historical gaming who subscribe to my channel, who are younger players, are playing predominantly skirmish style games. Low model count, low introductory cost of getting into a game system like bolt action. You can get a starter kit for bolt action. A starter box to get you going for $20, right? The rules are $20. So we're not talking a huge expense here. And I think really that's the thing. And as you tend to see 40 plus doing more mass battle games, the Flames of Wars, the Napoleonics, some of the larger scale, SPQR, which is more skirmish, that's a bad example. Like Hail Caesar would be a better example. Larger armies, lots of painting, lots of assembly, which is the other aspect, not just the financial, right? So you got a guy in his 20s or girl in her 20s. So it's not just the financial, it's also the time requirement for getting into these hobbies, which would be building and painting your models. So I think that has been a great thing from the gaming companies, have responded to the marketplace. And this is what's great about free market capitalism, guys. If we let it do its thing and we don't interfere with it, it is a self-correcting system, and it is a responsive system. It responds to the consumers. And we're seeing that. Saga, like I said, SPQR, ancient Roman battles based on the skirmish level. One of the games I've mentioned here on my channel from Stand 2 Games, it focuses on low model count, 5 to 10 models, and you actually have like character sheets for each model. And the game's called Forager. If you haven't checked it out, I highly recommend it. It's a Black Powder era game. We're talking War of 1812 and earlier, Napoleonic period, and it's something I plan on doing more on the channel here now that my studio is complete. I have a lot of models already built for the game. I just need to build the character cards, which involves me sitting down with a software program and just coming up with my cards. But my point is, even the boutique rules like Stand 2 Games are catering to the skirmish level games. So youth, less money, or if there is money coming in, they're making a good living out of college. The money tends to be going other directions, right? And if they are interested in historical gaming, that will be skirmish level games. Now, you're seeing it with the new 40K, which I have here on the channel now, the Star Wars Legion. You can do small scale games to large scale games based on your budget and your time allotment. So you tend to find that the really hardcore 40K players are 30, 35, 40 years plus, right? And they've now settled into a good income, and they love the hobby, and they're dumping money into it every month, buying new model kits and building their armies up and their factions that they play. So that's my main point. Here's the next point. My little list here is, I think us older players, me being 55 currently in 2020, we need a better job of inviting young players to play. If we run into someone and we end up talking about the hobby, and they go, oh, you know, I've never heard of that. I had a couple guys that came to do some plumbing for me when I was finishing my ceiling, and they saw some of my models. I had a table set up. I was doing some building and painting, and they straight to it. I said, hey, you know, get on my Facebook. Once my studio's done, if you guys are interested, you're welcome to come over when I have a game day here in the gaming hall. And they were very receptive to it. We're talking guys probably in their mid-20s, early 20s. So I think us as older gamers, you know, 30 plus, 35 plus, whatever you consider older, we need to do a better job of inviting younger players and letting them know, hey, we're not just a bunch of old sticks in the mud. You know, I can speak for myself. I feel like I'm 20 inside, right? So you know, keep that youthfulness and try to you know, let them know that, hey, you're someone that they can get along with. Which ties into my last point here. One of the things we're fighting these days with getting younger players to come to conventions or come over to play in the gaming hall, in my case, is there's this real stigma that has been bred. Unfortunately, I can't really put my finger on exactly all the places it's come from, but I think a lot of you guys will identify with this, and that is this anti-old white dude, right? Like, oh, they must be conservative, or they must be, you know, right-wing, which is ridiculous. Okay, so some of the comments, I delete them quickly. I mean, they pop up on my phone, and if it's not an appropriate comment, I zap it quick. But I've been called what is it? A Trump tard, oh, this was my favorite one. You're what is it? See, I'm a Gen Xer, and they call it a boomer. That's it. He's a boomer, or boomer alert. First of all, I'm not a boomer. I'm a Gen Xer. You know, the generation that invented skateboards, heavy metal, punk rock. I can go on and on. All of the first, hey guys and girls, the purple hair, the pink hair, missing persons, okay? I mean, need I say more? So our generations, we're the first ones that did all that stuff, okay? So none of this is new. Lady Gaga, okay, she's just, yeah, missing persons, Madonna. I mean, come on. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, get your own identity, okay? If you want to rag on our generation. But there's this real hey, they're older white guys. Look, they've got gray, man. They're not gonna be any fun, and you know, they're probably, you know, right wingers, and they probably have guns. You know, it's just a bunch of ridiculousness. All this stuff that has been coming out the last many years has really divided us by groups, and it's not a good thing, and it's a bunch of nonsense. You know, I don't care if somebody comes over here with purple hair and has piercings, right? As long as they're a cool person and they're going to come over here and I can teach them a new game that they can get into. I could care less, right? Personally, I'm a libertarian. If you need to know. So I'm for small government and I'm for rights. If you want to smoke dope and you want to snort coke, I could care less as long as you don't get in my way, right? Don't infringe on my liberties, and I won't infringe on your liberties. That's live and let live. But it's out there, guys, and there's this real standoffish attitude between generations. There's this rift. Now, I remember when I was a youngster coming up, when I was in school, coming out of school, and getting into my field that I'm in, I always looked up to the older guys that I worked with. I came to them for advice. I came to them for answering questions that I had with things that I was encountering in the field. And I kind of idolized these guys. You know, I certainly didn't look at them like, oh, they're a bunch of, you know, right-wingers, right? Or boomers, right? Everyone's quick to throw the labels on you, right? the guys that taught me my trade I idolized them, honestly, and how they interacted with their customers, and the knowledge that they had, right? So I was like a sponge. And I think we need to get some of that back, and that's where it ties back into that previous point with, hey, invite them, let them know, hey, you're not, you don't have fangs and you don't bite, and you can be cool with them, and they can relate to you. Stigmaster is one who recently we've interacted some on some videos. He's not active on Facebook, which is sad, because that's really, even though Facebook has its flaws, just like all social media, that's really the biggest forum for people to connect on. But we've chatted and things, and he's in his early 20s. He's still in school. I believe he's studying forestry, which is awesome. I love the outdoors, and if you follow my channel know I work outside for a living in horticulture. So I think that was appealing to me right off the bat. But he's a really good kid. He's got his head screwed on straight. I call him a kid. He's a grown man, but you know what I mean. So they're out there, guys. I've got them on my channel. They're subscribed to my channel. They make comments. And that's kind of the thing, getting back to my gaming roots and getting more a two-prong approach here on the channel with the sci-fi gaming and the historicals. I'm hoping that we can draw in historical players who may have also played 40K in the old days, or say, hey, you know what, I like Star Wars too. That would be kind of cool to keep around and play occasionally, or X-Wing, and kind of open up the old curmudgeons minds out there, the guys in their 60s who are stuck in the Napoleonics. And maybe they might want to try something different for a change, just to spice things up a little bit. And vice versa, the younger players who are playing the 40K, the Age of Sigmar, there is another one, more skirmish style. Initially, you can build bigger armies, of course, and build up your armies. But you can start with smaller model counts. As opposed to the old Warhammer fantasy. I mean, it was an arms race straight up, right? So I think it's historical gaming is alive out there. I don't know that it's growing hugely. I think it's probably staying about the same year to year, but it's morphed into a different type of gaming, which would be a smaller scale fighting, and it's just part of the course of action, guys. These guys, I pray and I hope that as they mature and advance in years, their careers and their financial choices will allow them to get bigger armies and get more into some of the, let's face it, hardcore historical gaming. We're talking, you start getting into World War II, boys. Just like I'm finding with this this game I'm getting into, I'm going right down the friggin' arms race rabbit hole right off the bat. I'm studying that list today, that of the platoon that I'm building and how I can maximize it against the Soviets. I'm just buying, I need this and I need this, right? And that's the fun of it, and that's, you can back it up with a good income, and you can really get into some trouble, right? So, and that's going to happen. That's going to happen as these 20-year-olds get into the 30s, and the 30s get into their 40s, and they become more settled in their careers, and their income is good. Their kids getting older, they're not buying diapers and baby formula, right? And taking kids to Disney World, Disneyland, etc. And you start maturing, and you say, you know what, I really enjoy this. I'm going to really go gung-ho into this hobby, right? So that's my 2 cents. As usual, I'm sure it went on a little too long, and I wanted to leave everyone with one thought before I let you go, and that is, for God's sake, at the end of the day, I have a ton of YouTube channels I subscribe to, from bicycling to RVing to traveling, you name it. I follow a guy called Super Trucker Dan, right? And he makes great little videos, and he drives around the country. He drives a flatbed semi-truck, and I find his videos are fascinating, and just how his job works. I come home at the end of the day and I sit down and I watch these videos, the whole video. I can't tell you how that kills a YouTuber's analytics. If you don't have time, if you see the timestamp is 20 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, wait until you can sit down, grab a drink at the end of the day, and watch the whole video. Guys, I can't make 10-minute videos, 5-minute videos. I made a 6-minute video, my last video, and the average view duration is 2 minutes. Okay? 2 minutes. People won't even sit down for 6 minutes. And you know what the topic is. My last video was vintage orcs. If you're not interested in watching vintage orcs, don't watch the video to begin with, right? So that's one of my things I'd like to leave everybody with. I come home at the end of the day. If I'm not going to come down here to the studio, I'll sit down and watch 2 or 3 of the subscriptions that I watch, and I watch the video, okay? Because there's content there, right? So I don't know if it's attention span disorder or what the hell it is, but it's pretty much crap. I mean, I know I'm not a polished professional presenter, but come on, guys. If you see the video is 20 minutes and you don't have 20 minutes to spare, don't watch the video, right? Don't watch a minute of the video. Oh, I don't want to watch this. Well, the title's on the video, what the video is about. This video is going to be about, is historical wargaming dying? If that's not a topic that's interesting to you, then I guess you need to just watch something else, right? Just my 2 cents. Holy Diver said it. He said it best. He said the YouTube is where the brave go to die, right? Because it can be I don't even know what the word is. Frustrating at times, right? So we're putting content up. Please watch the content. Please support the channel. Hit like. That helps my videos get recommended to other people. Hit subscribe if you haven't subscribed. I promise it won't hurt. And you don't have to watch every video, but if it is a topic that's of interest to you, please sit down when you have the 15 minutes or however long the timestamp is and watch the video, right? Otherwise, it kills the YouTubers because then they don't get their videos circulated, they don't get recommended. So that's how it works. Like I said before, I put my videos, my YouTube, on my smart TV upstairs, and I sit on my couch, sip a cold or hot beverage, and I watch some videos, you know, and I really enjoy it. It's a great thing. So I'll let you go, guys. I'll get off my soapbox, but historical wargaming is not dead, and it is not dying. And I'll see you next time. Thanks for coming to the studio. Ciao.